So, hello everyone. Before jumping into my slides, I would like to know from the audience how many of your companies or if you're coming from the public sector, how many of you do work with startups on your daily business? Could you raise hands? Okay, nice. And how many of you have got venture capital funds or acceleration programs within your companies to make sure that you're able to capture the innovation coming from the entrepreneurial sector? So no hands on stage. Okay, I'm Agustín Moro. I work at Telefónica, and I would like to share with you how do corporates work with startups and share the journey that Telefónica has done up to today regarding innovators. I know very little about water, but I do have learned a lot in the past years on how corporations can capture this value coming from startups. At Telefónica, basically what we do is scaling startups. I would like to start with something that might be pretty obvious to everyone, but I think it's important to highlight. Companies should be always under perpetual reinvention. So companies that not innovate will not survive in the current digital environment. We can have a quick look at the Fortune 500 index, and you can see there that in 50 years or in 60 years, the average age of companies has come down from 60 years to just 25 years of life. I think this might bring us an idea of how companies need to innovate in order to keep on those index and keep on being relevant on each of the industries. So from the top 10 companies in the world by market cap in 2017, you can see that 6 of them are coming from the digital environment. And all of them are super young companies. Maybe Microsoft is the oldest one there, but the rest of the 6 are almost newborn. So disruption comes to every industry sooner or later, but on the telco side, this happened in the early 2000s. So this is something that we have reinvented ourselves. It was not an option. It's a matter of need. So you need to change your approach. You need to change the cultural mindset of the company in order to survive. An example of this might be the automotive industry, which has been disrupted in so many fields and in so many layers. And that was something that maybe the European hard industry players weren't expecting. Peter Thiel, who, as you might know, he's the founder of PayPal, I think gives a good insight on what happened. So we were thinking of flying cars and a lot of innovation coming and new technologies. But in the past 15 years, I guess most of the digital industry has been focused on social networks. So corporates usually don't know where disruption might be coming from. What we have learned here is that there is no shortcut in the innovation journey. It's a path that you have to walk every day, and you cannot just skip it. It's a learning by doing process, and it's important to start as soon as possible. I think corporates, since we do not know where disruption is coming from, what we should be doing is kissing a lot of frogs until we find our proper prince and the proper player that might complement our business model or our industry, and try to establish win-win situations in which both parties might grow together. So for us, it's like being an elephant that has to dance with gazelles. We corporates are huge dinosaurs or huge animals that usually speak different language to entrepreneurs and different language to startups. So we do not know how to interact with them. And it's like if you are in the dancing floor, we should be agile and learn to dance with the smaller players. And this is what I was saying. It's an iterative process through which you have to walk each step in order to learn and to make this cultural shift within your organization. I think the time is now, and this is the good news. We're living a super exciting moment right now with artificial intelligence solutions that have already built and clear use cases within corporates and within enterprises. We have hundreds of thousands of millions of devices that are being connected through IT. We have decentralized networks that are entailing low latency services as opposite as the ones that were being provided by former connectivities and networks. So we think this is the beginning of an era that will really, really change the way, will really change the battlefield or the playfield. So it's the time to learn quicker, it's a time to learn more, and the way in which corporates can do this better, and corporates and also public agents, it's by looking into startups. I cannot think of a more agile agent or player in the market than startups that have limited resources and need to pivot and struggle in order to allocate those resources in the proper piece of the business in order to prosper and to grow bigger. So our vision from the telco side and specifically from Telefónica side is we're trying to be the most global, the most connected, and the most tech-driven open innovation hub in the world. We have different innovation programs and different innovation initiatives in each of the countries in which Telefónica operate. And we have built a set of tools that can support startups and that can support innovators regardless of the maturity stage. Sorry, it's not working properly. At the very center of this ecosystem that we're trying to build is always Telefónica and our business units and our global strategic units. Why? Because we need to bring value to our core business and to make sure that we're not doing just open innovation to support startups or to come closer to innovators, but we really want to make business with them, as I previously said. So we have launched all this set of tools in all the countries, and in those countries in which we are not present, but we think that there are important innovation hubs to the telco industry, we want to be present through partners. And we think that the only way to reinvent yourself is through a collaborative model, looking into what other industries and into what other players are doing. And that's why, since IT is a very transversal layer to any type of business, everyone uses nowadays information and technology capacities, we can do joint innovation with all those players. And that's our vision, and that's what we're doing. We do that with corporates, as you can see in the slide. We do that also with public agents. We do it with financial partners, like the ones that were sitting in the previous session. And for sure, in this cross-industry approach, a smart city is a solid bet for Telefónica. It's not only about water management, but also about energy, about smart transportation, about mobility, parking. We want to be there, and we want to be, if there's in the next big thing within these different sectors. So we started doing open innovation and investing in startups back in 2006, and throughout all these years we have invested in more than 400 startups. We have invested more than 160 million, and together with our partners around 1.2 billion. I'm proud to say that as of today, my company is working with more than 120 startups, and this has been a learning process. At the beginning, we invested in things that didn't bring value to our business, so it has been a matter of trial and error and doing things differently. why do an entrepreneur might want to work and to partner with a big corporations? I think big corporations, if we play it smart, we can bring them unique assets that they do not have. We can do joint business development and open our client base and all our infrastructure to those startups. We can put skin in the game, meaning that we can put money, and we can also bring expertise and access to technology and to the know-how that big corporates might have. We can bring also, we have acceleration spaces and innovation hubs in which those companies might be working and might be interacting with corporations. And we do, as said, this by leveraging third parties. So it's not just a matter of the value that Telefónica can bring to them, but also the rest of our partners and the rest of collaborators that we have among our network. So what we basically do is 5 types of simultaneously plays, is trying to find best innovators and best disruptors and match them with Telefónica's needs and with our corporate needs. We want to focus on mature startups that are ready to work with corporations from the very beginning, because if such a startup is still too small or still too embryonic, they might not have already like a proven business case or a proven business model. And then the value that we can bring to them is very little. So we need them to have already established business and something that's proven and that might be working with a not agile agent as we are from the very beginning. We know that corporations were like the ugly guy in the disco, so we have to put more things and more assets on the table than just pure financial investors, that the ones that were sitting before. In which fields do telco industries investing right now? In I guess most of you might think of them quite easily, but it's IoT, and here it's a clear common field of interest with the water sector. In video and AR, in advanced data analytics, we do business, artificial intelligence and machine learning, cybersecurity. All these sectors and all these niches might be relevant to the telco industry, to the water industry. We also want to bet for future technologies like blockchain and edge. So, as said before, yeah, we focus on scaling them up, and on top of the money, the best value we can bring them is business, joint business with Telefónica, and that's where we focus. That's our differential. And then for doing this on a massive way, what we're trying to do is open the capacities to the innovators world and open our APIs and our platforms to developers and to entrepreneurs so that they can directly access our customer base and our infrastructure. And finally, as said before, and throughout the whole presentation, we're doing this under a collaborative model. So that's basically what we do. I think there's not an exact formula for any corporation to interact with entrepreneurs. There are different tools, but what is clear to me is that for sure, every corporation has to collaborate with startups. Innovation is not coming just from the inside, from the traditional R&D units, but it's coming also from the innovators world, which is the startups and entrepreneurs. Thank you very much.